Aloha kako, everybody. It is that time. It is happy hour Friday. Shit, I don't have a drink, Jill.
Uh-oh, this keeps happening. Well, this time I think it's my fault because I'm traveling tonight, so we're not together. But when we're together, we should drink. When we're not together and we're alone, we shouldn't drink.
Oh, wait, but today I was like, today we're drinking, and I was thinking about the drink I was gonna make, and I was thinking about I was
Mm.
gonna start drinking before I got the thing, and then now I'm sitting here again in my closet without a drink.
Why are you in your closet again? I don't know if that's like tangent, but last week Kim was in her closet because I was on her couch and we couldn't record in the same room. This week I'm at home and she's at home, and now I'm looking for a drink.
Well, because I thought like my closet had better insulation, you know? I don't know.
Yes. Also, yeah, I mean, you're doing it for the audio. I get it. But also, is it really drinking alone if you're on the phone with your bestie? I don't know.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't mean to be argumentative, but I don't agree. Just because we're by ourselves doesn't mean we can
Oh,
drink alone. I mean, we're technically
no.
together.
Ah. All right. Well, cheers.
Crack it open. Cheers. Welcome to happy hour. Also, to our listeners, if you're by yourself but listening to us, it's okay to have a drink. That's the point.
It's happy hour. We're together.
Happy hour. We're together. We're together. Even when we're not together, we're together. What did you think, Hinale and Kathy's conversation?
Well, I like to call it, and it was kind of in the title, but I still like to call it the Soulmates Secret Love bull riding episode. I could talk about soulmates forever, honestly. So I loved hearing their stories. Them talking about everything from why people did get divorced to why people didn't get divorced. There was just a lot that I could learn from there. And I don't even know where you want to start with it because there's a lot to talk about.
You know what? Let's just start with our audience comments because really that's what this portion of the show is about our audience and kind of having a chat back, right?
Totally.
So there was one really good
Well,
comment.
there was a really good comment where somebody was like, is there really only one soulmate? And they were saying they didn't think there was. And I have to say, I agree. Like, I believe in multiple soulmates. If I can relate to somebody deeply, that's amazing. But I don't need just one of those people on the planet. Like, wherever I find it, I'm in. And that doesn't have to be romantic or sexual. For me, soulmates are just people who we share a vibe, a connection. And I don't know, I'll stop there. What do you think?
I really love the idea of soulmates branching out of that kind of sexual intimacy partner category because sometimes like I look at my kids and I'm like, you guys are my soulmates. Now they might not think that.
Exactly. That's another podcast.
Actually, that's next week's podcast.
Oh, actually, yeah. Cut to the chase. It's funny when you say that. Yeah. Well, because also I had the same feeling. Like I gave birth to my daughter. So our souls are connected in some way. I don't think you're
Yeah.
wrong.
No, I mean, scientifically, they have our cells in them, you know?
Yes.
Like,
So we're cellmates. We're cellmates, which feels more accurate.
Oh my God. We're imprisoned in this life together, is what my kids might say, as far as cellmates. No, but I agree. I feel like soulmates, for me, is not necessarily one person because I'm a different person today than I was when I was in my 20s, than I was when I was in my 30s, and of course my teens, right? So I feel like my soul is changing. So I would think my soulmate would also be changing. I guess the very lucky people find someone who changes with them. And then the rest of us maybe had a soulmate for a short amount of time or had a partner for a short amount of time. And then our growths either weren't happening at the same rate or one person was just like, I'm actually cool here. And then the other person kept going. But I feel like
Yeah.
I'm going to quote a Taylor Swift song right now, guys.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Do it.
She has this great line that's like, the perfect couples know, actually, now I'm butchering the line, but it's like the perfect couples know, when it's right. And when it's not, it's not. And it's like, well, so far I haven't been a perfect couple. So I actually don't know yet. Do you know what I mean? I feel like
Yeah.
it's a
I mean,
pressure.
I also would hate to put myself into a box and be like, oh, I had my perfect couple relationship. It's over. I'll never have a soulmate again. I
Right.
don't buy into that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
if I can fully express myself, that's the possibility of a soulmate. And I think that that will happen throughout the course of our lives as kids, as teenagers, in our 20s, 30s, 40s, however old we get. I just want my soul to be able to fully express itself. And I'm looking for people I can do that with, you know?
You're here. I agree. Also, even in the day-to-day basis, I find that I cannot fully express my soul or myself with only one person because I'm complicated. And so like I need my girlfriends for this and I need my partner for this and I need my kids for this and my mom and my cousins and do you know what I mean? Like I get something different from different groups of my colleagues. Like we're just
Yes.
complicated people. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's fair to demand everything from one person.
I totally agree with that. Somebody once said to me, it's something like, it's like just my personality or my soul. It's like different slices of a pie, and different parts of me will connect with different people. And I want to fulfill all of those parts of me, not just one part of me.
Totally. I love pie.
I
If you
love
were
that.
pie, what kind of pie would you be?
I would be peach pie. What kind of pie would you be?
I would be pecan pie. I love
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Slightly nutty, but so
Exactly.
delicious.
So, yes, you.
I had a message come through from a listener, which I thought was so interesting. And she was saying what she wants to know is understanding from your culture in regards to relationships. Okay, I just butchered that. But we were talking on the podcast about culture and how culture was impacting whether couples were staying together. I mean, Hina and Kathy are both Portuguese, and I'm not Portuguese. And then I realized that Portuguese people, historically, I guess, are very critical of breaking up and then getting back together again. And so you choose a lane and you know, you don't get divorced. And then, I know Hina was talking about Japanese people usually stay together. But then I'm Korean and my great grandmother had gotten divorced on the plantation and they're like, oh, that's because you're Korean. I was like, it never occurred to me that my culture would impact my family's history of divorce or for somebody else, it would impact them feeling forced to stay in marriages they might not want to be in because that's culturally what's acceptable. So I think that's what this inquiry was about understanding from our culture relationships. I don't know. I mean, do you feel like your culture, Jill, influences divorce rate, your divorce, your staying together? Like, what do you think?
Well, so I never really thought about it before until this podcast. And I guess that's what this podcast is for, right?
Oh man,
So
yeah,
a lot of stuff is coming up for me right now, which is my way of evading the question. You caught me in the act. But the first thing is you say they're both Portuguese, but they're both different. They're both Portuguese and Hawaiian and different things, right? So
that's right.
I definitely don't want to just like be like, okay, this is what the Portuguese do, or just like nail it down to one culture in any of these conversations.
Yeah,
There's a lot of different cultures at play for all of our families, I think.
yeah.
But it was really interesting to hear that based on their experiences of their grandparents and their families and the expectations that they were well aware of, in some cultures, they were saying, yeah, divorce maybe was not an option, at least in that generation, and therefore it wasn't felt to be an option in the next generation. And it did make me start to think about myself and my life because, my mother got divorced. So I always felt like divorce was an option. But what would have happened if I had been raised in a family where divorce wasn't an option? How would that have led me to see and navigate a relationship differently? I don't know. I don't know. It's a really big question, but it's a really good one.
It's so interesting. And my mom was also divorced. My mom was divorced a few times. And growing up, honestly, this definitely has impacted me because my aunt was divorced. My uncle never got married. A couple of my other aunts had never been married. And I had one aunt who was still married. But so the divorce and single rate was very much higher than the getting married and sticking it out rate.
Hmm.
And I have one pair of grandparents who loved each other till the end. Like he called her Doc. They met in the war. Like such a great story. And then I have another pair of grandparents who did not like each other. Like they literally watched TV in two different rooms. And I think me being able to see divorce was an option and that most people were divorced and that marriage didn't necessarily end well made me very suspicious of marriage. And so I've never been married. And I don't know if I'll ever be married because I'm kind of suspicious of it. Growing up, it doesn't seem like a good idea, you know? And I guess
Hmm.
that's part of my impact of where I came from, which I never really put together until we were having this conversation.
It's really interesting, isn't it? Because you've always
Yeah.
had really strong feelings about that, and they clearly don't just come from personal experience.
Yeah, because it's not like I was married and then I'm like, I'm never going to be married again. I just was never got married. Like,
Yeah. But
I
you've had
wasn't
long-term relationships. It was just
totally.
marriage itself, right? That you were not necessarily trusting, or the idea
Ye-
of, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not afraid of commitment. And that, I think that's two different things, right? Like, I'm
Yeah.
not afraid of commitment. I am afraid of the institution of marriage. I don't know if I'm afraid of it, but I'm just suspicious of it. It makes me think of cows and goats and dowries and stuff.
Which is funny because that came up in Kathy's story too. She's like, wait, is my dad comparing me to a cow? So
Exactly.
it's funny because one of the questions we first had when we were talking about this episode was, well, how do you know when to stay in a relationship and when to let go? And as always, the episode went into all these other beautiful places that were even better than that original question. But now that we're talking about marriage and whether or not we trust, the notion of marriage sometimes, or in my case, when I got married, I was like, I'm going to commit to this. I want to make it work no matter what. Ultimately, it didn't last forever like they said it would when we took our vows. But they're really like, even when you were in your non-married long-term relationship, you were fighting for it, Kim. So
Oh
I think
yeah.
it's really interesting to think about. It's not a marriage piece of paper that defines whether or not we fight for these relationships. And having a marriage certificate or not having one also doesn't determine when we realize maybe it's time to let go.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard.
No, I totally agree. I mean, we fought equally and it didn't matter. You're 100% right. Whether there was a marriage certificate or not, I feel like I was in a marriage. I just didn't do all of the traditional things. But in the end of the day, I had all the fashionings of being in a marriage, right? Like
Yeah,
all of the ups and downs and the commitment was 100% there. The loyalty was there. And
exactly.
definitely at the end, the fighting was 100% there. And the
Yeah.
not wanting to give up and actually kind of white knuckling it until there was no choice but to let go.
Yeah. And speaking of not wanting to give up, like for me, that was one of my favorite parts of the episode too, was when Kathy told the story of her grandparents who had decided at a certain point, maybe that they weren't going to live together. Maybe they weren't getting along. Maybe the family knew that. She didn't really go into the details. But then it was so sweet to hear about her grandmother living on another island, but coming back to visit her husband on a regular basis because they never got divorced. And the idea that they would still be in love, but hide it from their family because they were afraid of being judged just really struck me. Like, we call that secret love on the show, but I think it's something more. I think there is a lot of pressure in society on us. A long-term relationship is one of the hardest things we commit to, I think, as individuals. It's one of the things that I think we try the hardest to succeed at because of all of the kind of romantic notions. And to think that people around us are often judging us it's just heartbreaking and sad, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, especially when you put it like that, to have a love that's just for them so that they didn't have to deal with anybody kind of chiming in or cooking at anything. And it's like if love is private, then it's just for those two people and then there's no outside view or judgment or whatever. And
Oh my gosh, I think that's what I want. I know what I want. I want a secret love.
I'm here for it, even though it'll be secret, so I'll never know.
Oh, you'll never
Damn it.
know.
Damn. I mean, it makes sense, especially when you have kids and extended family and a lot of people kind of putting in their 2 cents, right? It's a lot of
Yeah,
pressure. I mean,
exactly. It's exhausting. Like, it's hard enough to maintain a relationship, and even harder when everybody around you is trying to judge it or tell you what to do or monitor it for you. you know?
And I have to say, for all the people who have kids and they're trying to maintain their jobs, their kids, the kids' schooling, the kids' activities, and then try to be engaged in a relationship that they've been in for over a decade and keep it fresh and show up, that's really hard because, at some point, I think when we're parenting together, it starts to become more roommate situation. That can happen, not always, but it's hard to be exhausted and then show up and try to still foster that relationship because sometimes it gets put towards the end, the back burner, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think the hardest thing is when you're in relationship with anybody, whether it's your child or your partner or the people you work with, you put a lot of energy in. And sometimes when you've got a child and a partner and everybody is like going through something or learning something about themselves or trying to evolve, you have to kind of choose where you put your energy. And that I think can be challenging, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Especially when
anyway.
you're the mom and you're feeling like you're their go-to for everybody.
Yeah. Well, and
You know?
especially when you have to also give yourself energy, you
Yeah,
know.
right. You gotta be the go-to for you too. Uh, I'm a little exhausted just thinking about it.
I know. I think I need another drink.
We did see each other, the 3 of us in Merry Monarch after we did the podcast, and it was so fun, and it's so neat because those 2 women did not know each other like they mentioned, and now
Yeah,
they're friends, and
I love that.
what do we got going forward?
Well, next week we have an episode. I forget what is the name of it. I don't know if we know what the
Oh,
title is yet.
I know. Well,
Okay.
we have a working title, so maybe
Yeah.
it'll change, but right now it's "Can I chime in on that?"
Yes. It's so good. It's all about communication, which we know is one of the most important things in the world in healthy
Yeah.
relationships. Doesn't matter if it's with your partner or with your family or with your kid. And this one, who are our guests, Kim?
Our guests are my daughter, Manalani. I have a 12-year-old. She's in middle school. She's going to be 13 soon. And she agreed to come on the show with DBT specialist Mary Tobon. And we sit down and actually hammer out some of our communication issues, like in real time. And no joke, I have an epiphany right on the freaking episode.
I can't wait for you guys to see this one. You seriously have to be there. Kim's jaw drops with all the stuff that she's learning. I want to say the shit that she's learning, but
I
that
am.
doesn't sound like, family appropriate. It's amazing.
And I mean, not to do a spoiler alert, but we literally, like, Mana and I have actually learned things, workable tools from the episode that has made our communication better. So
It's
that's
really
all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
yay.
Yay. All right. Well, Jill, you should go catch your flight and not be too drunk. So let's.
Oh, no, stop. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, thank you for listening. And we look forward to chatting with you all soon. Please keep sending in those comments because we'll talk back to you. And if you have any suggestions, comments, questions, tell us, write us. We're everywhere: Spotify, YouTube, Apple. You know where you're finding us because you've already found us. So thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
listening.
Just look for Miss Happy Mess the podcast.
Yay.
Yay.
All right. Have a good weekend, everybody.